What is going on, YouTube? Welcome to yet another episode of the MMA Show. Thank you guys for tuning in. I really appreciate you all. If you're new here, welcome. Don't forget, right below, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and go ahead and leave a comment, man. Tell me how you guys are feeling after the sad news we received this past day or so, you know. We had the very first one, obviously, being Khamzat Chimaev pulling out of the Robert Whittaker fight. For what Dana White said, he was viciously or violently sick or health, whatever. So that is unfortunate, but we'll break it down. No worries. And then UFC 303, the big one, Conor, the notorious McGregor, unfortunately getting injured. What the injury is, I don't know. I'm going to be honest with you. And I tried to do research on it, but I was like, who cares, honestly? At this point, who cares? But yeah, he is not fighting Michael Chandler at UFC 303. So, unfortunate, man. Unfortunate. Which sucks because I literally just uploaded a video about this, man. So, it sucks. It was, being Dana and being in his position, like I would hate to be in Dana White's position right now, having to make those announcements back to back. I mean, it's kind of crazy, really, First you lose a great main event in a fight night, and then you lose your big main event at UFC 303, which was going to be by far the most, not only like watched, but profitable UFC probably this year, I would say more than UFC 300. That's the kind of pool that Conor has, and all the promotions that they were doing, and then I would even add that the whole week leading up to this, like the whole canceling the press conference and is he going to fight or not, all that adds to the pay-per-view. Like it adds to the fire. So if the fight would have happened, it's one of the biggest pay-per-views ever. You know what I mean? But now, unfortunately, we did get news that it is not happening. So it is what it is, man. We'll talk about it. We'll break it down. But to start off, we did have, obviously, this fight night, which I believe was in Abu Dhabi, I'm not going to say. Yeah, and not in Abu Dhabi. It was in Saudi Arabia, so that's great. But it was Robert Whittaker versus Khamzat Chimaev, which I was really looking forward to. My last video, or I think it was 2 videos ago, I talked about how this was, in my opinion, the number one contender fight. Because we had Sean Strickland, who won. However, the way he won, it was a decision win, so it was like whatever, and then Paulo Costa didn't really do much that fight. None of them did a lot that fight. So it was not the fight we were expecting. You know what I mean? If you're wanting to, if there's, like I talked about how if I'm either of these guys, like I have to go out with a bang. I'm either risking getting knocked out, but what you have to do is be the most impressive out of 4 guys, not just 2, out of 4 guys, right? Because you have 4 big names fighting, So this, I think, skill-wise, would have been a better fight, Robert versus Khamzat. But now Khamzat pulled out, so unfortunately, we are getting still a fight. Ikram, sorry, I always mess up these last names, man. Alisov, Ikram Alisov. Let's go with that. He stepping up, fighting last minute, which is respectable. But if I am Robert Whittaker, I think I'm pulling out. I don't think I fight, honestly. Like, I think he's in a position where he's fighting this killer, right? Russian, obviously almost undefeated. He only has 1 loss in his record, which I think, per what Dana said, it was against Khamzat Chimaev. So, however, this guy is not ranked in the top 15. So if you're Robert Whittaker, you're still fighting a super dangerous guy. You're ranked number 3 in the world, okay? You're ranked number 3 in the world. And you're fighting a guy that's unranked. with the potential of losing, okay? Because I'll tell you what, losing against this guy, it's not the same when you lose against someone like Khamzat or another top contender in the top 5, even top 10, of the... Well, top 10 might be a little tough. Like if you're number 3 and you lose to guy number 8, that's tough. But if you lose to guy number 5 or 7, it's not as bad. You know what I mean? You're still in the top of the division and you can still come back with only like a win or two, But unfortunately, he's getting a little bit older. He's not young. He's fighting for a while now, obviously. And he held the championship. He had a shot against Izzy again for the championships, and then he lost against DDP, unfortunately, So the fact that now he could risk losing against this guy and just falling off the deep end. Like, that's what's going to happen if Robert loses to this guy. So if I'm Robert, I don't take this fight. I say, okay, you know what? I was trying to fight Khamzat, and that was my one objective. Now I'm good. Like, I'd rather wait, maybe fight Sean Strickland. That would be actually a good fight, I think. That would have been a way smarter decision. Bro, now that I'm thinking about it, why the fuck not give Sean Strickland like a month to recover? He did just fought, but also he didn't like get injured or nothing. So I think give him like a month or two to recover and then make this fight. You know what I mean? Or maybe in that time, Khamzat gets better, But being a fight night, I think this is what screwed them over, because they were supposed to be the main event, right? With Conor, it's different. We'll talk about it. But with these people, with these guys, they were supposed to be the main event of a fight night. Okay, I think they were not going to scramble to find another main event for this fight night. But for UFC 303, they did have to kind of scramble and do that, which is why we got the fight that we got, which we'll talk about. But they're like we have to scramble for 2 fights. Which one will be prioritized, right? So obviously one of the guys still had to be in, so Robert is still in. I hope whenever shit like this happens, I hope that they take care of their fighters. Like, I hope that Alex is getting a fat payday, Jiri is getting a fat payday, and Robert, because like I said, and also Ikram, like, stepping up, fighting Robert Whittaker last minute is not fucking easy. You know what I mean? He's still a super dangerous guy. But, to finish up, my whole point is that it was not worth it what Robert did. I think he should have just waited. But he's a fighter. You also don't want to seem like a pussy, not fighting a lower guy. And in the words of Dustin Poirier, if you're not defending your spot, then what are you doing? So I respect that. And I think if he does, by him doing this, it benefits everybody but him, right? Obviously, it benefits the UFC. It benefits us as fans, as viewers. We're still getting a decent main event, maybe even better one. You never know. Some shit could happen, But, the only one you're doing a disservice to is to yourself. Because like I said, it's a risk. It's a bigger risk to lose against an unranked guy last minute. And not saying that because he's better, but also you spend this whole time preparing to fight Khamzat. And now a guy comes in, mind you, similar style, but it's still a different guy, Khamzat fights like Khamzat. Ikram fights like Ikram. Just because they're both wrestlers or grapplers does not mean that you can just prepare for the same guy. It's totally different. I do get it. If you're preparing for a striker and now you get a wrestler, okay, like that makes sense, right? But Ikram is still a different guy, different style regardless, So it's kind of crazy that he's getting this opportunity too. I mean, if you look at the entire division, I think there would have been guys that are maybe a better, but it also depends on who says yes, who says no, who's booked and who's not booked. I don't know fully who's booked right now, but looking at the division, I mean, Cannonier just lost. You have Vittori. I don't know what he's doing. I don't know what's the last time he fought. I mean, you don't have much options. You have Michelle Pereira. That would have been a good option, maybe. Chris Curtis, Brendan Allen. So you had a couple of names. I'm sure they asked a couple of those guys. However, it was just kind of, I guess, too last minute. You know, a lot of times guys don't want to take that risk either, you know. So for Ikram to step up, shout out, you know, shout out for him. I hope he gets paid. If he's able to get past Robert on a 1 week notice, it's going to be kind of insane, and he's going to jump up to the top. So you can see kind of what I'm going with as far as the risk that Robert's taking versus the reward that Ikram could get. You know, both outcomes would be, you know, if Robert loses, it's unfortunate, but if Ikram wins, good for him. If Ikram loses, he doesn't lose a lot. You know, you're just saying that you lost against the top 3 in the world, which is not terrible, you know, especially being unranked, especially if he's able to put on a great performance. Like if he's able to like give us a good fight, a good product, but still lose maybe a decision. Okay, well, whatever, you know, still stepped up, probably still be ranked in the top 10, which is crazy considering he hasn't been in the UFC for that long. I mean, his first fight, I think, was last year. Yeah, he has 2 fights in the UFC motherfucking C, bro. He is 15-1. 2 fights in the UFC, fighting Robert Whittaker. Now, if he wins, remember what I was talking about earlier to bring my point back, okay? If he is able to show us something spectacular, and if he's able to stand out of the 4 fighters that I was talking about earlier, Sean Strickland, Paulo Costa, obviously Khamzat is out, but, you know, and then Robert, if he's able to stand out and do something crazy, buddy, you're getting a title shot. You're getting a title shot. You know, I mean, it depends on what AZ wants to do and Strickland wants to do, but he's going to be right there, ranked. You know, he's going to be right there, bro. So, yeah, shout out. I mean, I kind of want to see that, but I also kind of want to see Robert get another title shot, you know, especially because it makes a lot of sense, and it's great to watch maybe like a rematch against DDP or maybe like a Robert versus Sean Strickland. I don't know if they've ever fought before. I'm actually not sure. But yeah, you know, Robert's still a dangerous dude. So regardless of what happens, he's going to be always right there, at least in the top 5, top 7, I would say, you know. So, but it is a big risk, man. It is a big risk because now you're just more far from the title. So, but as a guy, as a fighter, I get it. You know, he's just trying to fight. He's trying to make his money, you know, so whatever. But like I said, it benefits everybody else more than him. Like it benefits even his team because obviously they're getting another payday. It benefits his opponent, you know, because he's given an opportunity. It benefits the UFC because they saved the main event. It's benefiting us because we're getting a main event. But the only person that this sucks for is Robert Whittaker, you know, but whatever. So obviously next we had the Conor McGregor pullout versus Michael Chandler. Let me say this before I go into Alex Pereira and Yuri Prochazka. Let me say this about Conor and Chandler. I said this, okay? Chandler is now, I already seen a few memes. Chandler is now the laughing stock of the UFC. He is the butt of the joke, if people say that still. That's such an old reference, I feel like. He is now a meme. Like, he is, you know, in the internet, he's a fucking meme. And he's a guy that has been just begging and begging for Conor. I mean, he has been absolutely patient and put his entire career on pause. So what does that mean for a guy like Michael? I don't know, man. I don't even have words for it. You know what I mean? Like, it's so tough, the position that he is in right now. I think all he can do is fight. That's all he can do, bro. If you wait another 3 to 6 to a year, you know, 3 months to 6 months to a year for Conor, dude, it just does not look good. It does not make you look good. Okay, you're money hungry, you're whatever, whatever, right? But people will say, oh, he's just doing it for the money. Okay, when now that all this happens, I don't even want to see that fight. Okay, like Conor Chandler, since the beginning, this was not the fight I wanted to see for Conor for this comeback. But it is what we got, so fuck it, right? But now I'm like, okay, fuck it completely. Scratch it. Like, have Chandler fight again at lightweight, get another possible title shot. Not right away, but I'm saying like get another run going, because that's the only thing he can do right now. If I was Chandler, that's what I do right now. I book a fight fucking next week, bro. Okay? It's kind of the opposite as Robert. Okay? If I'm Michael Chandler, I tell Dana, okay, I can still headline UFC 303. Give me another big name. Like, give me another big guy. I don't know, Colby, someone like that. Who else would be ready? I'm not sure. Let me look. Who would be a good opponent? But if I'm Chandler, that's what I say. I say, just give me another guy. Yeah, I'm heavy. I'm probably not going to make it lightweight. But, give me a fight at welter, You have Colby. You have JDM. You have Shavkat, which would have not been a smart choice. You know what? You have Wonder Boy. You have people like that. You know what I mean? You have Kevin Holland, someone fun. Maybe now we're getting a little too far, but I think Colby would have been a good main event. I think that's the main guy that I'm kind of putting in my mind. Okay, Colby versus Michael would have been a good main event for 303. Not the best selling pay-per-view that we wanted. You know what? Never mind, because it has to. Okay, it has to be for a title shot. Or actually, no, it does not, because Conor and Chandler was not for a title shot. So whatever. If it's not Conor fighting, then it probably had to be for a title shot, which I kind of understand now. Maybe Colby would not make more sense. However, still, if I'm Chandler, I say just give me another fight. If not at 303, or butt me to maybe the co-main, but give me a fight that day, because I need to fight. That's what I do if I'm Chandler. To clean up my image, okay? To not be a fucking meme, all right? And who knows, maybe you go out there and you win in a spectacular fashion, and now everybody's talking about you, And in your post-fight interview, you can shit all you want on Conor, which would honestly just boost up your numbers. So if I'm Chandler, that's what I do. Okay, I fight still, maybe not the main, but maybe the co-main. I try my best to win in a great fashion, and then I talk all the shit I want. Okay, but now, unfortunately, the position that he's in is that he is the meme. Okay, he waited all this time. He just seems money hungry, bro. And there's nothing else you can do but to fucking fight. If I'm Chandler, I fight within the next month. Like, he's ready, bro. He's ready to go. Just fight, bro. Just fight. If you wait more time for Conor, it's just not ideal. I don't care how long it is. If it's an injury, if it's another leg injury related, maybe Conor's not even coming back anymore. Maybe he could be out another year. Like, you never know, bro. This thing is wild. And with everything else that Conor has going on, the acting, the owning his own alcohol, and he owns the bar that he's always at, drinking and partying. Like, with all that going on, it's been so tough for the UFC to book a fight. You know what I mean? Like, we've been talking about this since last year, bro. Since summer last year. You know what I mean? We were talking about summer comeback for Conor, and then end of the year comeback, and then he posted a video right around New Year's, like, coming back. You know what I mean? Like, he's just been teasing and teasing and teasing. Months go by, and then teasing, months go by. It's gonna be the exact same thing for another year. I guarantee you that. Because they're either gonna save him for International Fight Week, or they're gonna save him for another big number pay-per-view, or like end of the year type shit, But as far as I lost my fucking train of thought, dude. Yeah, if I'm Chandler, I fight. I don't wait. If you wait, I'm sorry, bro. You're gonna be the whore of the UFC, like the money hungry, the fucking gold digger of the UFC. Okay, do not wait for Conor. Chandler, look at me. I'm your manager. Do not, okay? Do not wait again for Conor. Book a goddamn fight within the next month or so. You're ready. You're ready. You're trained. You're healthy. Maybe not a lightweight. Okay, that's fine with us. Book a goddamn fight at welterweight within the next month. With who? I don't give a fuck. Just fight. Just show the fans and all the viewers that, and show the UFC, quite honestly, that you are not just a gold digger, that you're not just money hungry. Just fight, bro. Just fight. I don't know how that's going to look with Dana and the UFC. Like, they might say, oh, this guy doesn't want to play, with us, wait for Conor. It might look good, though. Dana likes shit like that. You know what I'm saying? If Dana, because Dana can come out and just say, oh, Michael Chandler is a fucking stud. He just wants to fight. He doesn't care. We've seen that. He did that against Conor. Sorry, he did that for Conor. And when Conor, I think, was supposed to fight, I forget who, but it's a famous video of Dana in Conor's kitchen, and Conor comes out. He just woke up, and he's like, oh, your opponent pulled out. And Conor's like, I don't care. I'm going to go train. Just find me a opponent, right? Dana loves shit like that. The same shit happened with Khabib. And again, Dana glazes it. Dana said, oh, Khabib, the famous quote that's like, I don't care who it is, if it's King Kong or I think he said like Shaq or somebody, I don't care, like I'll fight, right? I'm not saying that he called Shaq King Kong. I'm saying that he said, I don't care who it is, King Kong or Shaq, or I think he even said John Jones, like, I don't care. Not an example for another black guy. Sorry, I'm not saying he said anything wrong, but I'm just saying Dana glazes on shit like that, okay? He loves guys that just say, fuck it, I don't care about the money, just give me a fight. Chandler needs to be that guy right now. He does, especially because if he waits and then loses, I'm sorry, but he's off the deep end. He's completely off the deep end, all right? He will be lost, and he won't be regarded as a top lightweight contender or welterweight contender for that matter, So yeah, I mean, if that's my advice to these guys is just fight, just Chandler, just fight. And as far as Conor goes, I think he's done. I hate to say this, but I think he's done. I mean, injury. I guess we have to wait on how bad the injury actually is. But if it's a bad leg injury again in the same leg, if it's like a fracture from the surgery or from the same injury that he had, he's done, bro. Like, he's done, unfortunately. I don't think he himself wants to accept that. You know what I mean? I don't want to get all therapeutic and shit, but therapeutic, that's not even the right word to say. All therapist and shit. But it must be tough for a guy like Conor, a guy that loves fighting, a guy that talks all the shit he talks, and now he can't fight. And I'm sure he wants to fight. I'm sure he didn't mean to get injured, obviously. How crazy would it be if he's like faking it or something? He wants to fight. We know that Conor is a fighter's fighter. He wants to fight. But if his body and his health prevent him from doing it, it must be tough mentally, psychologically. So, again, not to get a therapist on you guys, but it must be tough for him. But at the same time, buddy, like, you've made all the money in the world. You know what I mean? You're the most famous fighter ever. And you're in movies now. You got other businesses. You probably well set off financially. Like, I don't get what he's trying to do. Okay, Conor peaked a long time ago. A long time ago. Okay, when he became double champ. Okay, when he knocked out Jose Aldo, when he knocked out Eddie Alvarez, like all those wins, the wins against Nate Diaz, like even against Cowboy Cerrone, like that was peak Conor, okay? Peak Conor. Now, I'm sorry, but I don't think he wants to achieve that peakness again. I don't think he will. It sounds bad to say, but he's not going to peak like that ever again. Nobody does. I mean, the only person that he's been able to be kind of close to doing it is John Jones, because he peaked a while ago when he was, fucking completely undefeated and a savage, defeating everybody. And then comes back at heavyweight and wins and becomes again the talk of the town. He becomes the goat now. So you can make the argument that someone like that kind of peaked and then had years off and then peak again, right? Conor, I don't think that's going to happen for him, right? Conor obviously being way more famous than John Jones, though, too, which is crazy because John Jones is probably the best martial artist ever, right? Conor didn't become famous because of his skill. He was always a great striker, not a great grappler or wrestler, but he got knockouts, which is what everybody liked. But to peak again, it's kind of wild. I mean, I don't think it's going to happen for him. I don't get what he's trying to do, though. Is he trying to win and then get a title shot and then be double champ again? Like, if he's trying to do that, if he's still legitimately trying to do that, I'm sorry, but that train is already passed, bro. That ship is sailed, brother. Like, it sounds tough to say. All we are going to get from Conor now is, if we even get a fight from Conor, is big money, big fights, like mega fights. Not mega fights, but like just big name fights, right? Like a Chandler, like a Dustin Poirier, like a Colby, but forget fighting Makhachev as long as he's champion, right? Like, forget fighting Leon as long as he's champion. Like, he's not going to fight for any belts. Okay, maybe a BMF? Hey, against Max? Hey, whoa. Again, that could happen. But with Conor, you just never fucking know. Like, you cannot make plans for Conor. Like, you cannot put your money on, like, oh, Conor's going to fight this guy, or he's going to be champion eventually. Like, you cannot bet your money on that. You know what I mean? He's letting us down. And it sounds bad to say because it's not even his fault. Like I said, like, it was an injury. Like, if he pulls out because he's depressed, then we talk all the shit we want, right? But the fact that's an injury. But then, you know, going back to canceling the press conference, did he already know that he wasn't going to fight? You know? Makes you wonder. And then maybe what I think happened is that they were waiting maybe for like the result of a doctor or something. Like, maybe he got injured right before the presser, canceled it. They didn't want him limping or on crutches or whatever. Got him checked out, you know, which is the whole week that we were in limbo. Got him checked out, and now we got the answers, right? But if they knew before the presser, it's kind of scummy. It's kind of scummy because they were still advertising UFC 303. They did it in the last fight night, you know, and they posted on all over social media, you know. So it is a little tough. You know. But it is what it is. We did get a good, now finally arriving to, we did get a good replacement. Jiri Prochazka versus Alex Pereira. I hope it's a good one. The only reason why this cannot be like, no, sorry, I said that wrong. The only reason why this wouldn't be a good main event or a good fight worthy of the title of the main event, it's because it's a short notice, you know? So guys are probably not prepared. They're probably not trained, you know? So it is tough. Mentally, they're probably not going to be ready at a position where, like, I have to go out there and fight. And yeah, if I'm Yuri, but you're like, it's the same type of shit that, like, what do you do? Like, do you take the fight or do you not take the fight? Because you have to say your pros and cons. Like, if you take the fight and you win, you're the champ. Great. But it is against a guy named Alex Poatan Pereira, which it's so fucking dangerous for him, you know? We all saw what happened the first time, even though it got disputed that fight could have maybe kept going a little bit, but Jiri was man enough to say, like, hey, I was out. I was knocked out. So boom, there's a knockout right there. I hope that we're able to see more action, you know, this time. So that's going to be great. But if Alex goes out and knocks out Jiri Prochazka in the first round, it's going to be because of, you know, we're all going to blame it on Conor. I guess we're going to say that Conor fucked up Jiri Prochazka shot at a title, you know, but I don't know, man. It's tough because going back to like the Alex Volkanovski situation, right? Like when you're a champion and you're a number one contender and when you have a lot to lose, do you really want to be taking last minute fights? Like, isn't the whole point that you fought your way through the contendership, through the ranks, you beat all those guys, and let those be last minute. Let those be like last minute replacements or fighting with an injury. Like, let those be those moments, that define you, that make you and shape you as a fighter. But once you get to a certain point, to a certain level, especially if it's for gold or for a lot of money, like last minute shit is not it, in my opinion. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. Going back to the Alex Volkanovski, like he took the fight against Islam last minute and got knocked out, which, if you want to make the argument, that led to him also losing against Ilia Topuria. Not saying that he would have defeated Ilia Topuria if he didn't fight Islam, but I am saying that he got knocked out. And that affects his health against going against a killer like Ilia Topuria, So it is tough, man. It is really, really tough. But I'm glad that they are saving the card. I hope they are getting a lot of money for that. I will break down the fight stylistically when the week of. But I like it. I like it, but I don't. Like it's tough. I don't know really what to make of it right now. We just found out this literally not even 12 hours ago. So it's a great shot. I do hope though. What I hope in situations like this is that the UFC is able to look at this fight and say, okay, well, if Jiri Prochazka loses or gets absolutely knocked out, it's not because he's not good, or it's not because he has to now fall back in the queue, right? Like, I hope they don't punish him for losing again, because some guys lose 2 title shots. That's tough to come back from. You know what I mean? It's rare that someone gets 3 title shots. We've seen it with Colby, with Dustin, with I don't even know if Dustin has gotten 3. But we've seen it, and it's rare. You have to be undeniable, So if he loses this, he has to be ready to win, I don't know, at least 2 or 3 in a row again. But again, that's what I'm hoping the UFC doesn't see. I'm hoping the UFC sees this and says, okay, if any of them lose, it's because it was last minute, whatever, we get it. We'll keep them in the, in the top 3 of the division. I hope that's what happens. I hope they don't punish him by knocking him down along the way. And I always look at the rankings as far as when I talk about fights, but a lot of these rankings, they don't matter sometimes, which is kind of crazy to say. They don't really matter a lot of times. Like right now, Jiri is ranked number 1. But if he loses, he'll probably still be number 1. Like, there's nobody right there, especially that has fought recently, that is going to take his spot. John Blachowicz is going to fight here pretty soon, but he's not going to take his number 1 spot fight, So it will be tough. It will be tough to do that. So he's still going to remain the number 1 contender. Now you just got to find another guy, or maybe do a rematch. I don't know. To fight. But again, this is also kind of a risk for Alex. Don't get me wrong. I'm sitting here talking like Alex is just gonna absolutely blow this out of the water. Like it's because we're so used to seeing that. We're so used to Alex just easily dispatching of the best guys in the world, right? We're used to that. So that's why we're sitting here talking like that. However, it is also a risk because, like I said, maybe he wasn't training and he's a bigger guy. So the weight cut could be the weight cut right now is Jiri Prochazka's best chance at defeating Alex Pereira. Like, if I'm him, if I'm his camp, I'm wishing, I'm praying, I'm hoping that Alex, because he has to cut the weight really fast, is rough, is tough, and that affects his performance on the fight. We've seen before that Alex, with tough weight cuts like he did against Izzy, he, not that he doesn't perform the best, but I think he has less of a chin, right? He has, because being severely dehydrated like that affects your brain. So get rattled once or twice and you're going down, right? So he looked way better at light heavyweight, than he did at middleweight. So that's obviously a sign right there. But it depends on how his weight cut goes. Like if his weight cut is tough, we might see a new champ, And then that sucks for Alex too, because again, the risk is great, because if that happens, maybe that affects your chance at a heavyweight title shot. Like we've talked about here before too as well. I broke that down a couple of videos ago, how Alex had the opportunity at becoming one of the GOATs, literally. I'm not saying about, just champ. Being champ already is like puts you in a great status, but being double, triple champ, bro, literally, there's John Jones and then there's him, right? I completely forgot for a second there too that I was talking about 3 belts. I completely forgot. But 3 belts would be fucking insane for Alex, So if he can get that done, then do it, And I talked about this in the last video, not the last one, but a few. I was like, bro, Alex has this shot. Like, if I'm Alex, I'm just begging for that shot. I don't care how annoying I am to Dana or to Hunter Campbell or to the other guy, Sean Shelby. Like, if I am fucking begging, let me fight Tom Aspinall. Let me fight John Jones. Stipe. I'm begging. I mean, Stipe doesn't make a lot of sense, but John Jones. I'm begging for that fight. Like, I'm sending them fucking texts every day, DMs, like, hey, come on. I'm talking all the shit to Tom Aspinall. I'm talking all the shit to John Jones online. And especially, we know John Jones is a guy that likes to get in those, social media back-to-backs, So it just creates the hype. If I'm Alex, that's what I'm doing, bro. And that's what I wait for, right? Because now if he loses against Jiri, we might get a rematch, which is great. But then if he loses to that, now it just creates less hype for the heavyweight title. However, if he is able to defeat Jiri, first round knockout like we're used to seeing, my brother, prepare yourself. Because as a thank you, the UFC and Dana White have to give you not only a big ass bonus, okay, and a big ass payday, but they guarantee have to give you the heavyweight title opportunity, obviously, right? That's what has to happen. If I'm Alex, that's the deal I make with Dana. Okay, I tell him, all right, you want me to step in, last minute replacement, UFC 303? All right, I'll do it. But listen to me, you bitch. Listen to me, you little bitch. I imagine Alex and his deep Brazilian voice with no facial expressions, just, the stone face that he has. Listen to me, bitch. Eu falo pouquinho de português. You give me. I win this fight. You guarantee give me the heavyweight shot. I want John Jones. Bro, if I'm Alex, that's what I do. The entire fight. Like, that's the deal I make. Like, there's no other deal. I hope they take care of him like that, especially because Alex, if you talk about what he's done for Dana, for the UFC, in the short amount of time that he's been in the UFC, he's been a company man. He's fought multiple previous champions. He's fought big names. He's headlined MSG a couple of times. Like, he was the talk of the town at UFC 300. Well, not after Max Holloway, but he won the main event at UFC 300. Gave us a great knockout, So, and then he had the wars against Izzy. He defeated Strickland. Like, this guy, he defeated Blachowicz. Like, this guy is fucking insane, okay? So if I'm him, this is just giving me more leverage, more and more leverage to now come back and say to Dana, I want that heavy. Eu falo pouquinho de português, eu campeão. I don't know how to say it. I'm a champion, but, that's all the Portuguese I know, by the way. I mean, I know a little more, but I'm not going to sit here and talk Portuguese to you guys. That would be quite embarrassing. But yeah, we are getting a new, main event, so it is what it is. Anyways, sorry that this video was a little different, not technically breaking down fights, stylistically, but just thought I'd share the big news with you guys. Obviously, it was big news, but I will be breaking down the fights the week of. So you don't want to miss that. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell. And yeah, thank you guys. I appreciate you. And peace.